Coach, do you want to make an opening statement, and we'll take some questions?
Yeah, obviously excited to get win number one, excited to start the season at home. Really appreciate the support on Saturday from the fans, really the students in particular. It was awesome just to look over and see that section full, and they were into it, man. Can't thank them enough for that. I know I can speak on behalf of our players. We did a great job finishing the other day. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we need to work on. But I think most importantly down the stretch when we had an opportunity to finish, we were able to get that done. So obviously we've turned the page, been hard at work here, preparing for Miami. We got to have a great week of preparation. Excited to see first and foremost how much we can improve as a team from week 1 to week 2. So it's finally nice to watch some tape now of us playing in a game and be able to attack that because, there's plenty of things from the other day that we need to attack and work on, and obviously we got some injuries. Guys got to be ready to step up. I thought some guys did a great job on Saturday stepping in when their number was called, and that's part of our game. That's just part of it. So we just got to get ourselves ready to go and have a great week of preparation here for Miami.
What specifically are some things you'd like to improve on going forward?
Yeah, execution. We held the ball for 23 and a half minutes in the first half and came up with 7 points. Now, obviously, it was unfortunate to see, Caden made a really, good decision, good throw on the RPO to Cam Pickett and just kind of bobbled it, and they returned it for a pick six. So it was kind of unfortunate that way, but thought we had some opportunities there to put some points on the board in the first half. Weren't able to get that done. So really that to start with. You look at, really happy with, what we were able to do on third down, both offensively and defensively. If you look at the red zone, when you get down there in the red zone, we had 4 out of the 5 that we put in for a touchdown, but we left one out there that we need to capitalize on. And then defensively, I think for us, in the red zone, making sure we forced them into field goals. We had 3 touchdowns there defensively that that we gave up in the red zone. So, and penalties. Some of the pre-snap penalties. I hate that. That just is all about discipline. It's all about watching the football. You're going to see a hard count. That's just part of the game, no matter what game you play in. So, we've got to clean up some of those pre-snap penalties. But I think, just the, when you have the opportunity early in the game and the way it was going and the defense was outstanding in the first half, holding them to 14 plays, we got to come away with more points in that situation.
When your quarterback throws a pick, like no matter who it is, are you talking to them after the fact and kind of giving them advice no matter what kind of interception it is?
It's one of those with Caden now. I think he did such a good job of just staying in control, and he didn't blink. That really didn't have an impact on him. He never wanted to happen. I think probably, if anything, he was kicking himself like, how could I have gotten him on the ground? Because he was really the only guy there that had a position or had a chance to make a tackle. We don't spend a ton of time working on tackling drills with the quarterback. But that would probably be the only thing, him kicking himself about. I don't worry for 1 second that would have any impact on him. I think it's awesome that he does a good job of going to make sure Cam knows I'm coming right back to you. It was just kind of a freak thing that, the one thing you could certainly make sure and emphasize is make sure you get there in a hurry on your route because he's coming. It's coming to you, and it's going to be coming with anticipation. So just make sure that, you take pride and detail your routes because it's going to be there.
I know last Saturday was Cam's first game ever at the collegiate level.
Mm-hmm.
This is his 3rd year in the program, but he's never actually saw action. What did you like about his preseason that made you confident in him stepping right in?
Well, back in the day when we recruited Cam, one of the top things as far as strength was his speed, man. And so for that young man to go through 2 years of really battling injuries, all last season, and obviously, that was his first college action. So I really credit him for just staying positive because it would be easy, to wonder why me, and he didn't. Credit our athletic training staff, Chase Britt, for just working tirelessly with Cam to build him back up because it gets lonely when you're sitting there and staring at the same 4 walls all the time, and you start to wonder, why me? What is this really meant to be for me? And for him to be able to be mentally tough enough to just battle through that, and then he worked tirelessly, worked extremely hard. He knew that he had to find a way to carve his own path and find a way to get some repetitions. And ever since we started back in spring and once we got into training camp, Cam was one of those guys that every day is like, man, he's putting so many good things on tape. So he earned the opportunities that he got on Saturday. And I thought he set the tone. It was awesome, that opening play of the game where, you know, we pitched it to him on the little jet sweep, and boy, he was tough after contact, grinding it out, getting himself a first down there, and I think it just kind of set the tone for him, confidence-wise, knowing that, man, I can do this. And, you know, it was a long journey, but, you know, proud to see his hard work and his perseverance pay off.
And then you talked about like the fan support. I know that you guys are about to go on a pretty lengthy stretch of road games, but
Yep.
I guess like from my perspective as a student, there's a bit of a running joke in the community that in the past, a bunch of students will go to the tailgate and they won't go to the game.
Right.
But it seemed like a lot did come to the game this week. How do you feel like, is there any responsibility from the football program's part to keep students coming and interested in coming to games?
Oh, for sure. And obviously we got to put a great product on the field, number one, and win. They'll come and they'll be excited about that. So it's a great responsibility on our end. But I think our players, and just engaging with students on campus and obviously, you know, making sure they know we got a game this coming Saturday. We need you there. And if they feel like that's hey, he just asked me to come to the game, or, you know, they're making me feel like that's important and my role is important, and it is. So we just got to keep doing that. It's just, you know, there's no magic secret to it other than just trying to stay engaged with the students and make sure they know how much we appreciate them at the game. And, man, if we can get them inside for the tailgate, I guess I'll have to figure out a way to buy the beer like Coach Lewis does. I'll have to figure that out somehow, some way. So it is what it is.
They came this past week.
Yeah, and it was awesome to have them there. I'm telling you, just to look at the student section over there and then to be in it. I don't know what was going on over there with everything, all the in-game entertainment, anything like that, but we need them. I want to make sure they know how much that was appreciated.
In a team in a game like this at Miami, how do you let the players kind of take in that big moment but not let it overcome them?
It's a game, you know, and obviously Miami's a good football team. They're doing some really good things through 2 games here. They've had 2 dominating wins, and they've worked hard in the transfer portal. They had some great additions, you know, in all areas, offense, defense, you name it. So it's going to be a great challenge, but we're going to work hard on us. We're just going to have a great week of preparation. Once the game plan is implemented, guys got to do a great job of studying the game plan, taking it out to the practice field, and just worry about doing, you know, our job one play at a time, giving the best effort we got. That's all we can control, and we're not going to make it. You know, we're going to Miami. Some guys probably haven't been there. It's on a grass surface. We don't play very many games anymore on a grass surface. Miami, I think the Dolphins play Thursday night this week. So there's a lot of games taking place on that field, and that field is in immaculate shape. So just, you know, obviously going to have a great week and focus on the preparation part of it.
Is there any updates on Kyron Montgomery, if he's going to be able to play?
Don't know. It's an eligibility situation. I haven't gotten any answers. I'd like to know just as fast as you would. Kai's been positive, so we just got to, you know, keep going with that, and you know, hopefully we can get an answer here soon.
Do you have any updates on Ty Robinson?
He's got an MRI tomorrow. Obviously, he got hurt that first play of the game. It was his shoulder, and it's unfortunate. I mean, he's blocking his rear end off, and, you know, just kind of came down, and you know, kind of a freaky deal. So hopefully we can learn more after that takes place tomorrow, and see what the timeline is for Ty as far as return.
Have you talked to him since? Because I know last year was a struggle for him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I immediately, you know, both sideline after the game in the locker room yesterday. Just, I know it's tough and it's easy. You know, we talked about Cam Pickett. You know, it's easy to go, why me? Why me? It's happened. Things happen in life that, you know, sometime, or, you know, it'd be easy to go down that path of wondering, and what am I doing wrong? Why does it continue to happen? But just trying to keep them positive, and you know, let's just think the best and hope for the best, that we get the best news possible, and how fast can we get you back out there. So we're going to keep staying engaged, you know, with Ty, with all of our guys that have been banged up, and make sure they're engaged and still, you know, studying the information so that they are ready to go when they're able to return.
And obviously, NIU beat a top 5 team in the country
Yep.
this past week. When you look at that, I know that they're your rival, but they are a fellow MAC team. You guys are about to go play a top 25 team. When you see something like that happen in your own conference, does that kind of inspire you and the guys in a way?
No question, and I think it's a credit to our conference. You know, I think, you know, Bowling Green took Penn State right down to the wire the other day as well. So I sent Coach Hammock a message, an email, that tell him congratulations on a phenomenal accomplishment, and really loved the way he handled himself after the game. I love personally the emotion because I know what goes into it. So, yeah, I mean, the Mid-American Conference is a good conference. Obviously it's a great challenge, but we're just going to focus on doing us the best that we can all week long here. We got 2 games to study. We got things that we need to get corrected on our end of it. So I think our focus is just, man, all we can control is what we do out here this week on the practice field. And obviously you saw it from our conference this past week in terms of good football being played, and that's our plan, is to make sure we have a great week here so we can go play good football.
Coach, wanted to ask you about Justin Bowick as well. I know you said he's getting looked at on Wednesday, but how is he kind of feeling, doing anything?
Yeah, same deal, trying to keep him up, trying to keep him positive and keep his spirits up, and such a freak deal when that happened on the practice field, but can't go back and be going why it's happened, and those guys took, both Ty and Justin both took a lot of reps this all off season back in spring ball and in training camp, and had built such a great rapport with Caden Simons. But injury's a part of it, and hopefully we can get some more answers here this week with Justin as far as what that timeline might look like, for him to get back here and get back on the field again.
What sort of offensive adjustments are you guys making with the receiver position, kind of getting a little bit more speed reliant than sort of size reliant?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because we felt really good going into it. We had nice depth at the wide receiver group. We had some guys with speed, we had some guys with size, we had some guys that were shifty, really good at working the slot. So, obviously, just like you try to tell all you guys, you got to be ready when your number's called. You might have started out playing one position. In our particular system, we have an X receiver, an F receiver, and a Z. You might have started out playing one of those, X or Z, but now you might have to play F, or now you might have to play Z. So, obviously it's just part of the game, and even though you start out and maybe this is where you begin the journey at on the depth chart, now you shift to somewhere different. And, that's what's going to have to take place. We just got to get our best 3 guys out there when we're in 11 personnel, or if we're in 12 personnel or 21, then we got to get our best 2 guys out there and got to cross-train them and make sure they're ready to go. And Coach Shack and Coach Elliott have done a great job with that. And I thought, guys, again, when that happened with Ty, first play of the game the other day, Malcolm had to step in and play probably a lot more snaps than he was thinking going into the game, but his production was really good, and certainly nothing bigger than that 4th down catch he had for a touchdown. That was awesome to see.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, how are you guys preparing for a guy like Cam Ward, who's looking like one of the best QBs in the game?
Yeah, and listen, he is certainly, he deserves all the credit that he's getting right now, because through 2 games, it's one thing to have a strong arm, it's one thing to have a quick release, but when you're locating the ball the way he is and completing 75% of your passes, this guy's making throws that some of the guys aren't making on Sunday right now. It's going to be a great challenge. First and foremost, the way you get him disrupted is trying to get some pressure on him, and not let him comfort, because he's been very comfortable in the pocket the first 2 games. He's had plenty of time to survey the land, and he plays light on his feet. They distribute the ball evenly throughout all their skill position players. But Cam Ward is as good as it gets, as good as I've seen in terms of the tape, and it's going to be a great challenge. But obviously that's what we're looking forward to, and it all starts with us making sure we have a great week of preparation here.
Just the second week of the season, but you're matching up against the top 10 team who's already knocked off Florida on the road. A new group at a lot of spots this year. How valuable is it to have this test to kind of evaluate where this new group's at so early on?
Yeah, obviously, when you look at these guys on tape, and they've had so many additions, to their football team. They've done as good of a job as anybody has in the transfer portal. And whether it's a quarterback, whether it's a running back, whether it's some of the defensive linemen they brought in, some of the guys in the secondary, they've done as good a job as anybody has. And what they're doing through 2 weeks of play is certainly drawing a lot of attention across the national landscape, if you will. So it's going to be a good challenge here. But it's nice to have two game films on them to study, and they're off to a good start, and obviously I'm sure obviously anything and everything that you read, they got high goals this year, and they're off to a good start so far.
You coached our program at UGA, at Penn State, a lot of hostile environments. Is there a certain approach you take to kind of leading your guys into a really tough place like Miami will be this weekend?
Yeah, obviously, first thing you do is turn on the tape, watch the TV copy to see how big of a factor the noise is. So when we are out there, if it's third down or whatever, if we're in the red zone, how challenging is it from a cadence standpoint, whether it's verbal cadence, clap cadence. So you always try to pay attention to that. Obviously, they're playing in an NFL stadium at Hard Rock. It's about 25 or 30 minutes away from campus. So just obviously studying the crowd from the last game here against Florida A&M, which was our first game at home. That was a night game. This one will be mid-afternoon. So obviously you want to make sure that we prepare in the event that we can't hear. We got to make sure we're locked in, and whether it's the cadence, whether it's clap cadence, nonverbal, whatever it is, that's all part of the process, and we'll make it challenging on our guys at practice here during the team period, so that in the event they can't hear, then obviously you got to watch the ball, or you got to do a great job with your cadence.
Coach, I'm curious about George Udo. I know you were high on him at the sniper position.
Mm-hmm.
What was your assessment of him after week 1?
Yeah, George did a great job. Obviously, he has always been, from day number 1 here, he's always flashed in terms of his speed and his physicality, and that certainly showed up the other day. Nobody made a bigger play on Saturday than George did on special teams when he forced a fumble there, and to be able to convert that into a touchdown. Then we had another turnover later by Joey Stemler that we were able to convert. But really happy with where George is at. He did a great job, and certainly there's things that we can get better at from week 1 to week 2. But just love the intensity and physicality that George plays with.
Final question? All right, that'll do it.
Thanks,
Ethan
guys.
Crowe will be up
Appreciate
front.
you.
Ethan Crowe will be next.
Ethan, Mike was just talking about how, really the only thing you guys can do going into this weekend's game is focus on you guys and your preparation. You faced a lot of top 25 teams, a lot of Power 5 teams. Does that preparation look any different when you're going against an opponent like Miami?
Not really, I would say so. It's making sure that we have the little things down. So that's why this week at practice, it's just the fundamentals and working on technique, just making sure we're at top notch.
What have you learned from your big game experience? Not only just Power 5 teams, but conference games, whatever that may be. What have you learned most from those?
Learning most of those is it's always a hard game in the trenches, especially. Just got to make sure that you're giving it your 100% and doing your job. That's most important.
Are you talking to guys, given the fact that you're one of the most experienced guys on the team, are you talking to maybe some younger guys who don't have as much experience in games like this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I tell them to enjoy it, because I traveled when I was younger too, Penn State. That was a really fun game, but I wasn't starting at the time. But I tried to tell these guys, I'm like, hey, learn from these moments. It's fun and everything, but make sure hey, when the game starts, lock in, just watch just play the game.
For sure. And I guess one of the most impressive things about last week was how you guys adjusted as an offensive line to the change in lead running back. Marquez Cooper was a big loss, but Braden Sloan kind of came in and took those reins with relative ease. How do you guys as an offensive line make that transition easier?
We block for them. It's real simple. We do our job up front, all 5 of us, and it helps that running back room do their job, make it easy for them.
Do you talk a lot with the halfbacks?
Yeah, every once in a while, yeah. We always say hey, what's going on, how your guys' practices are going and everything.
I didn't know if there was any maybe conversation as far as strategy or game planning or anything like that.
No, if we see anything in the game, we'll tell them, but it's nothing hey, there's no real strategy to it.
For sure. And kind of the same question, but more with Caden. Now that he's kind of this solidified QB1, I know center and a quarterback normally have a pretty good relationship. What is your relationship like with Caden?
I say we're pretty close. We're pretty good friends. Love snapping to the dude. It's fun. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Do you golf with him? I know Tanner does.
I am not. I'm not good enough to compete with those two.
Did you feel confident in his ability to not only just pass but run? Because I know that he was talking in the offseason about not wanting to just be a pocket passer.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no doubt in my mind. I was I know he's going to get the job done back there, whether that is throwing the ball or tucking the ball and going to get the first down.
For sure.
Looking at tape from Missouri State, where do you think the offense needs to improve going to Miami?
Like I said earlier, just the little technique things. We got to make sure we fix the little things, and I feel that'll help us go far.
You've played these bigger atmospheres before. Does that feeling ever get old of running out into a huge stadium like that?
No, I love it. I'll say even running out here, that's one of my favorite things. Just love of the game.
I know Mike talked about the grass. Are you guys going to be practicing on the grass field mostly this week?
I'm not sure on that, but in my opinion, grass or turf, it doesn't really affect me as much, I feel like.
I'm curious, like, what does that feel like when you run out onto a field? I mean, I have no experience doing that. I don't think any of us in this room truly know what it feels like. Can you kind of put that in perspective?
It's awesome, like running out, seeing all the fans, like they're, like especially last Saturday, seeing your fans come out and support you. It's a great feeling, just knowing that you're going to put a show on for them.
I wanted to ask you about the matchup this week. I'm not sure how much like film or anything you guys have watched, but what do you kind of like that you see from the Miami defensive line?
I'll say they're a good defensive line. Like I think it's going to be a fun game. It's always fun in the trenches. I know we got a good offensive line, and I know they got a good defensive line. So I think it'll be a good game.
You've gone up against a lot of great D lines in your career, a lot of great teams you guys have played. Do you notice maybe an elevation in size and speed when you play these better teams? Like, is there a perceptible difference that you pick up on?
I'd say, I mean, me being like the smallest guy on the offensive line, yeah, those guys are definitely like a little bit bigger than me. But I feel like we're gonna compete with them no matter what size. It's just gonna be a fun ball game, just going out there and just competing against each other.
Do you think seeing a team like NIU beat Notre Dame this weekend gives a little confidence going into Miami?
Absolutely. I feel like we had that confidence already going into this week, so absolutely.
You've been a MAC player for a long time. I mean, I know that NIU is a rival. It's a rivalry game, but do you get any inspiration or maybe even satisfaction just seeing a conference opponent beat a top 25 team?
Absolutely. I love seeing the MAC thrive. Even like it's awesome to like, hey, like the MAC is a great conference, so I love when like even stuff like that happens. It's awesome.
Do you feel like sometimes the MAC kind of gets slept on? Like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like because we're a Group 5 conference, we get slept on just a little bit, but I feel like we can compete with them.
Anything more for Ethan? All right, Mr. Stemler,
Thanks,
you're up.
Thank you, guys.
Man.
Cincinnati native?
Yes,
You a Reds fan?
I am. Yep.
I'm
Go,
glad to hear it.
go Reds.
Yes, sir.
Struggling a little bit, but you know,
We've been struggling for about 10 years, but we're sticking with
it's all right. It's all right.
Keontae was just telling me, or you go. Keontae was just telling me that you kind of played edge in high school. Is that right?
I did. Yep. My my senior year, I played D line. So I played a little bit of linebacker, a little hybrid, but it was mostly D line. So obviously, once I came here, playing middle linebacker, getting back to my kind of like my root, I had a fun time. It's been awesome.
So it wasn't that big of an adjustment for you?
No, actually, I think it. If anything, it helped me, especially just learning how to use my hands more, kind of getting off the ball. So that it didn't hurt. It for sure helped me.
Yeah. And Saturday was your first career interception at Ball State. Did you have interceptions at all before that?
No, I did not. I dropped a couple in high school, but that was my first ever career one. Felt awesome, was just doing my job, just going to make a play in the ball, and it was just there. So, when the ball's in the air, just go get it. And like I said, it was awesome. Everybody did their job, and it was just there for me to get.
Yeah, obviously that's a first-time experience for you, but do you have a feeling like that you can compare it to? I mean,
I would say more or less just, obviously I was excited, but I was also excited to get the ball back for the offense too. I told Samanza after every drive, we got your back, like, we're going to do it. Told the O-line that we're going to go do our thing. And so, yeah, it was awesome just to see them, give them an opportunity to go, put them in great field position and do what they need to do. So I was more or less excited. I was excited for myself and the whole team as well.
yeah. They said you were a little frustrated that you couldn't hold on to it a bit longer.
I was, yeah. It was bang bang play. He made a great play, trying to knock it out and everything. I just got to do a better job. Ball security, we preach it and all the time in practice. I just got to keep working on it and do better. But yes.
Yeah, but I know it's been like a really focal point of the defense last season and this season, just to force as many turnovers as possible.
Of course.
How do you kind of factor into that equation, or maybe even help out the defense if you're not even necessarily the one forcing those turnovers?
Just keep preaching on the sideline. If running back's holding the ball, try and go get as many shots. We call it shots on goal as we possibly can. If the ball's there, we got to get it out. If there's a play in the air, it's our ball, it's not theirs. So just constantly trying to harp it on our defense. D-line, doing it, and just got to get it out eventually. If you take enough shots, you'll get it out. So I just constantly keep harping on that and just letting them know, we can get it done. And we keep practicing. We've been practicing it for 30-something practices. So.
Yeah. And then you don't have quite as much experience as Ethan playing against these kinds of Power 5 teams, but you do have a little bit. Is there a memory that you have from any past Power 5 games that really sticks out to you?
I played in the Georgia and Kentucky game last year. And it was just an overall great experience. I mean, there wasn't really one moment. It was just kind of just soaking it all in. It's a great atmosphere. It's great to be out there just having fun. You just got to love the game. You can't get caught up too much in, all the hype. At the end of the day, it's still just a game. But just being in the atmosphere is very fun. So just the whole picture, just got to love it.
Does it feel different, like when you first run out of the tunnel?
Yeah, it's different because, obviously it's a lot more people there. Adrenaline's pumping a little bit more, but you just really got to tell yourself it's still just a game, and then you just got to you've been doing the same game since I've been little, so you I kind of just lock in mentally like that and just say, hey, I can do this. Here you go. It's just a game.
Yeah.
And focus on the team and do whatever needs to be done for the team to win.
Does the game speed or even the caliber of play feel any different when you're going against a team like this?
Yeah. Obviously they're they're great athletes and they're maybe a little stronger, bigger, and faster than us. But we really just focus on the little details and kind of more so worry about ourselves, worry about playing Ball State football, Ball State effort, and just doing what we need to do and not trying to make it a huge point because they're a good team, but we just kind of worry about ourselves. To focus on us.
And looking at film from Saturday, what are some of your main takeaways about the defense as a whole?
Well, I thought we played really well, especially with, a brand new unit all playing together. I thought we played really well as a whole team. We were communicating at a high level. Obviously, we can get better on all ends, tackling, communication, all that stuff. But I was very proud of everybody. I trust everybody to my right, left. D-line did their job, holding the gaps and doing what they did, so I had full faith in everybody.
And going forward, what are some plans to keep Cameron Moore at bay?
We're just going to focus on the game plan and just kind of, like I said, just, worry about us. Obviously, he's a good quarterback, but we're more so just going to, try not to worry about it so much and just focus on us and, let the game plan and let our effort, just go out there and, just play.
I know you've talked about it. You said it many times, just making a game. How important is that, just making a game mentality where it's not a bigger opponent or anything, it's just a regular game?
I think it's very important. I think if you really, dive deep into it, you can psych yourself out a little bit and get, worry about, oh, should I be here, this and that. You start to worry. It just kind of just allow you to play free, just allow you, you know what you're doing, you've been practicing all week. Just go out there and just honestly just have fun with it when I say, just a game. So, yeah.
You talked about the trust and faith you have in the guys around you on the defense. How have you guys all kind of developed that? Because, this is a pretty new unit. A lot of these guys haven't really played together before.
Yeah, well, obviously started back in the winter, working out together, going through spring ball, just really harping on, we're one unit, we're one heartbeat. We just if one person messes up, we're going to be there for them. You just got to do your 111th. Coach Neu talks about that all the time. So, we've all just kind of learned to play together. Like I said, communicating at a high level, tackling this and that. If there's problems, we sort it out. We don't argue about it, this and that. We take full responsibility and accountability for everything. So I think we've really grown in that aspect. And, I trust every single person on that defense that goes out there.
The defense being a new unit is kind of a big theme this season for you guys. How do you see this game against Miami, one of the best offenses in the country, one of the biggest names at the quarterback spot? How do you see this being beneficial for you guys moving forward as you gel as a group?
Oh, it's going to be a great experience for us. It's going to be a great challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. We really, master the details, master the little things, just kind of just go out there and just, show them what we got, Ball State effort, like I've said before, and it just really, improves our play, going against, a good opponent like that, and it just helps everybody get better in the long run. So I think it's going to be really fun.
Any final questions for Joey? All right.
Thanks, man.
Excellent.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.